What up? This is Rapids, and so there's a lot of movement going on in the Young Thug case. So the judge is fed up with Fanny, and he's basically saying that she is in danger of losing her evidence and witness list that she's trying to expand before the trial begins.
Really, I am really annoyed about this, Miss Fulton. I just am. This is ridiculous. Your witness list has grown by 2/3 since then. And I don't know why. You better have a dang good explanation on the 16th, because if you don't, I'm going to exclude it. Okay. But right now, I'm telling you, without anything further, it's gone.
Well, we would like
to exclude a lot more on that date, because this is ridiculous. There is no plausible explanation I've gotten and that would suffice, that we just kind of keep, well, you keep dripping and driving out evidence.
Well, we'll be asked to be heard on the 16th, Your Honor, and we'll have all the explanations for the court.
I'm telling you, it better be a good explanation, and if it's not, I'm going to exclude it.
So they already pretty much wrapped up the jury selection, and Fanny keeps on adding more witnesses and more evidence to the case. And the judge is saying that's not how this works. Basically, the judge is saying that she was supposed to have been submitted all this before this process, before the jury selection was almost over already, because the defendants have the rights to discovery. So basically, this isn't how it's supposed to be working, he's saying. So basically, he said you should have been submitted this evidence, and she better have a good explanation as to why she's now expanding her witness list so much, and why is she continuing to provide evidence this late into the game. So he's saying if she doesn't provide a good explanation, he's going to remove all that new stuff she's trying to add to this case. So to me, it looks like Fanny is getting desperate to get this conviction, because she made such a big deal about this whole thing, and it's national news, and her reputation is on the line. So she really wants this to stick. She doesn't want to be embarrassed with a full dismissal of Young Thug's charges. And Young Thug's lawyer is actually arguing a very valid point now. And so he's saying that basically he's trying to suggest that it's not really legal to be charging Young Thug, and that all of his charges need to be dropped because of a technicality, I guess, the prosecutors overlooked. And it sounds like this technicality is, well, basically they're saying it has to do with the Rico Act and how they're charging them. So they're saying that basically the grand jury never proved that these charges had anything to do with the furthering of a gang. So that's the whole reason why they can charge Young Thug with a Rico, is if this has to do with the furtherance of gang activity. And what the lawyer is saying is that the grand jury never discussed the evidence or even brought up anything about Young Thug or any of the other members furthering the gang with their actions and with their alleged crimes.
And what's the material element that they allegedly omitted?
There's 4 material elements of a criminal street gang conviction, because, as I've heard mentioned many times, I heard the court mention it, being in a gang, being a member of an associated gang, and committing crimes that are criminal street gang activity is not a crime. It is only when the gang member or the associate commits that predicate crime, the criminal street gang activity, to further the interests of the gang. And you know what's missing from the indictment for every one of these gentlemen? The grand jury never alleged that this is in furtherance of the Gangs Act. That is a material element in the case. And then Mr. Williams was wrongly charged with 3 counts of violation of Georgia Controlled Substances Act, Your Honor. That also omitted a material element of the mens rea. And Mr. Williams was charged with 2 gun counts, and that also omitted the charges, the material element. Your Honor, those are all our counts, and after you wrestle with this, if you agree with it, I'd like to leave with Mr. Williams, because he would be cleared. He has no other counts. Mr. Huey, most of his counts are affected by this, as well as Mr. Kendrick and Mr. Stillwell. So, Your Honor, I didn't file it on their behalf, but I did drop a footnote that they also may want to adopt. And that's
So
the
you said it
motion.
applies to Mr. Kendrick, who else?
It applies to everybody. Mr. Williams' client, it applies to everybody here, and it applies all of the counts to Mr. Williams, and then a lot of the counts to the other gentleman, too. And it's a great issue, Your Honor. I mean, this is just, you know, exciting stuff. And I wasn't doing anything inappropriate. I'm going by the teachings of our highest court.
Look, you're doing what you're doing your job.
So he's saying without that, they have to dismiss and drop all of Young Thug's charges because they never covered that part of the RICO Act, and that's a technicality. So it's like a loophole this lawyer found that might even get this case thrown out before the trial. And he's saying he has grounds to declare this based on the higher courts. So he was able to dig up something from the higher courts above this court. Well, I think it's probably like a circuit court or something. So he was able to go higher than that and find a relatable court experience where they have to remove the case and throw it out if they didn't cover all the points of the RICO Act. So they're saying Young Thug plus the others will have to have their charges dropped. So he's saying Young Thug, all of his charges should be dropped, plus a lot of the other members, most of their charges. So a lot of them are going to pretty much walk away if he gets this through. And the judge sounded very interested in looking at this. And so this might all get dropped within a month or two, possibly. We'll have to see. But this is all the stuff that's been going on. So it's a lot of developments in this case. It does kind of look like this is a very messy case. It looks like it was more of a personal thing kind of with Fanny. It looks like she's kind of throwing this out there and try to put this all together. It looks like she's like kind of overplaying her hand, and Fanny's career might be on the line. If she fails at this case and this whole case gets dropped, her career might be on the line. I mean, who knows how much longer she'll be in her position in Georgia as a district attorney if this case falls apart like that. Plus, she's trying some other famous names. We're not going to get into that right now, but we'll have to see how all of these cases go for Fanny and if she's going to have a future in her current career. So yeah, I'll keep y'all updated as more information becomes available. Make sure you like and subscribe and click that notification bell and check the description box for links. I'm out of here.